sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. Today, we're going to be talking still about the man on the phone and his journey with Jesus. Now, we remember last time we talked, Jesus had called a man, just like he called you, and he asked the man, will he come and walk with him? But on this side of the podcast, we find Jesus talking to the man before the man went out for a walk with him about his dirty cup and his dirty dishes. Now, Jesus said to the man that there is nothing defiled in him, but what is defiled comes out of him. Just like he said in Mark 7:14. Well, what Jesus was saying to the man on the phone is what he's saying to you and I about our dirty cups. Is that our dirty cups and our dirty dishes are defiled, because what comes out of our mouth is considered defiled. What we have in our dirty cups is considered defiled, and they must be clean. Now, Matthew 23 tells us that we need to change our inner selves. So when Jesus called you today, or he called you tomorrow, will you answer the phone? Will you realize that you need to change on the inside, and Jesus will instruct you how to change? He will tell us what we need to do to change on the inside. Because we're asking you, did you listen to him when he called, or you just hung up the phone and stood there angrily, madly, because you don't want to be told what to do? You don't want to be told that those dishes that you get in your inner spiritual sink are dirty and to clean them up. Just like the man on the phone. Do you think he wanted to be told that his inner dishes were clean? Do you think he wanted Jesus to come into his house and say, hey, man, you got to clean these dishes up? So Jesus is telling us that we have to clean our inner dishes and cups in our spiritual sinks. Now, remember, God told Job in verse 3, he said, brace yourself like a man. I will question you and you will what? Answer me. But now, imagine yourself in front of Jesus. Imagine yourself in front of God. And imagine both Jesus and God telling you what God told Job. Brace yourself like a man. I will question you and you will answer me. So when Jesus calls on the phone tonight, tomorrow, or next day, whenever, I am telling you to answer the phone and brace yourself. Now, Jesus called the man on the phone, yes. But did the man respond? Did the man question him? No, he listened to Jesus. He listened to Jesus. He heard what Jesus had to say. He heard what Jesus had to say about his dirty dishes in the sink. Just like Jesus is talking to you about your dirty dishes in the sink. And you need to be quiet and listen to that inner voice. You need to be quiet and listen quietly to what Jesus is saying. Now, in order to clean up our cups, we must expose all the ugliness in them, all the ugliness in us, before they can be cleaned. Because Jesus wants to help us clean up our cups. He really wants to help us. So we have to expose all of our ugliness, all of the sinfulness in our hearts, my brothers and sisters. Now remember this, Matthew 12:34 says Jesus told the Pharisees, how can you, who is evil, say anything good? Now he's saying this to you, my brothers, you, my sisters. And he's saying this to me. How can I say anything good if we are walking around with evil in our hearts? Now, you answer that question. You answer it and you think of it. You think to yourself, how can you say anything good if you have evil in your hearts? Now, Jesus did say that how can we say anything good if on the inside we are filled with what? We are filled with evil. If we are filled with evil, my brothers and sisters, we cannot say anything good at all. So the thing is, to clean those cups, we must deal with more than our sin. We must deal with the stir in our heart. We must deal with the sin and the hurt in our heart. Because somebody the day before yesterday, hurt us, and now we're walking around with the sinful hurt in our heart, the stir that we have in our heart, and we don't know what to do with it. So we have to clean them up, and we have to start by dealing with it. We have to start by dealing with it. So Jesus will call you tonight, and he will say this: are you ready to clean up those dirty dishes in your sink? Because just like we said the last time, how can you break bread with anybody? Your friend, your mom, your dad, husbands, wives, if your sink, which is your spiritual sink, is filled with dirty dishes. And if that is the case, we all need to what? Pray to God and ask God to expose anything in us that isn't of him. And until next time, remember what I said about those dirty dishes. Get them clean, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, I am Julie Thomas, and the name of my podcast is it's a Well Water Christian podcast for my social media podcast show, which is At Home with Christ. And now I want to tell you about my latest TV show, which is going to be At Home with Christ TV. And you can reach that and you can see all the episodes on Shrimp TV, on shrimp.com. So that you can go to this new platform, which is shrimp.com, and look for At Home with Christ TV under London. It is a fantastic show, and we hope